Hi YouTubers, this is Firefly515
Hi.
and today's topic is atheism, and I have some questions for all you atheists out here on YouTube.
Excellent.
Number one, how did you become an atheist?
Well, there was no miraculous conversion or anything, if that's what you mean. I stopped believing in God by the age of about 8, mainly because there was no evidence. My mum wasn't really religious, although she's got some New Age beliefs. My dad was a self-professed atheist, and the hard kind, not the kind that says, oh yeah, 99.99%, blah blah blah. I mean, he was the kind of atheist who said, look, there is no God, you're an idiot if you think there's one, which is an interesting point of view. And I went to a religious primary school. In my senior school, it wasn't religious, but I was surrounded by people of different faiths. I actually live and grew up in a very ethnically diverse part of the world, so not just Christianity, but all faiths, Sikhism, Hinduism, and Islam. So yeah, nothing happened. There was no reason to believe there's a God. I mean, the question is, why do you believe there is one? That's what it's about, really.
Number two, what life experiences did you have to make you believe there's no God?
You see, that's quite an interesting one, because I imagine a lot of people who become Christians, or who are Christians all their lives, do have an experience that makes them become a Christian. Like they feel the hand of God, or they see him in a vision, or they hear him, or they're in a bad state, so they're addicted to drugs, and then they get healed by Jesus. But I think for atheists, nothing like that tends to happen, generally. The reason is really the one I just gave for the first question. There's no evidence, There's no evidence. As I say, I did actually believe in God up until the age of about 7 or 8. I remember praying to him sometimes, usually when I needed something, but not like, oh, I want a new bike or something, but usually when I was quite upset or whatever. I prayed to him at night. But I don't know if I really believed it. I don't know, because when you're a kid you tend to repeat what your parents say. And after that I sort of began to repeat what my dad would say about God's just for weak people who need some daddy in the sky to look after them. But it wasn't much later until my teens that I developed my own opinions. So I don't know if I ever really was a Christian or did believe in God. It depends what kind of criteria you're judging it by. But yeah, I did think there was a God when I was little, put it that way. There's just no evidence. There's no evidence for it, and I've never had any sort of vision or hallucination which has convinced me otherwise, basically.
And number three, what is your atheist testimony?
Wait, I'm not quite sure I follow this. What's my atheist testimony of what? No, seriously, I'm not being facetious. I don't understand. I mean, do you mean what is it like to not believe in God? That's weird. I mean, if that's what you mean, that's odd, because my grandparents were born in 1939, just before the war broke out, and 1941, I think. And, when they were little, they remember sort of aeroplanes flying over above, and, all this sort of crazy war shit that was going on that we all read about in history books. But that's literally what they knew. I mean, my granddad was like 5 or something. He was born in 39, just before the war started, so yeah, he was like 5 when the war ended, so he does remember some stuff from then, but it was the only life he knew, so he didn't have anything to judge it by. It was only afterwards that he saw that it was a bit peculiar, but that was all he knew. So I'm not really sure what you mean by testimony. As I say, if you mean what's it like to be an atheist, I don't know how to judge that. I don't know what you mean. I'd like some clarification.
Number four, were you ever a Christian before you became an atheist?
Well, as I just said, I did believe in God up until the age of about 7 or 8, and I did go to a Christian primary school. That's elementary school to you Americans, so I was there till I was about 11. Upon leaving, I got presented with a Bible in the church, which was nice. I've still got that Bible. Anyway, it's got pictures, so stupid people like me who don't understand Scripture can get it really drilled in or something. But yeah, but I don't know if I'd say I was a Christian. I was christened. I went to a Christian primary school and I did believe in God, but I didn't really believe in anything in the Bible. I don't remember a single time in my life when I ever believed any of the teachings of the Bible. Whether it was Jesus' miracles or any of this stuff, I don't think I ever believed any of that, actually. I mean, yeah, I was Christian and I went to a Christian primary school, but and I did believe in God until about the age of 7 or 8. But my conception of God was very sort of murky. There was some sort of person who could hear you if you spoke to him, sort of, and that was essentially it. I didn't believe any of the stories in the Bible. I didn't believe Genesis. I didn't believe any of the Jesus stories. I mean, it was all. I never really thought about it when I was a kid, but I never considered that it was real. You know what I mean? It just seemed crazy. I mean, now I never really thought about it, but I never considered it real. And now I look back on it. Of course, it's crazy. People don't. The miracles in the Bible that Jesus wrought, it's nonsense. It is nonsense. So, I don't really think I've ever been a Christian exactly. I think in the past I have considered myself a Christian because I went to a Christian primary school, because I was christened, because it's useful, it's easy, it's a way of categorising yourself, you know what I mean? But I don't really think I ever have been a Christian. Yeah.
And I want to open a dialogue between myself and all you atheists out here on YouTube.
Well, thank you very much.
And see if we can learn something from each other.
Hear, hear.
Maybe we can, maybe we won't.
Probably not, but oh well, I mean, the thought's there. Let me turn that off. I mean, I appreciate that you say that, Firefly, because there's some other Christians out there. Glemreb. Yeah, did you get that? Yeah, who are totally closed-minded. I mean, they're not just brainwashed, they are. I think with you, Firefly, I think there's a human there, but when I look at Glemreb, I think he's a machine, he's an automaton, he's a mindless savage, and he doesn't want to know anything. It's totally monologic. He has no interest in other people's points of view. He just wants to see himself be right and lord it over everyone else. Whereas you let people rate your vids. Most of them have got 1s, but that hasn't stopped you. You let people comment. Most of the comments are fuck you, faggot boy, Christ lover or some bullshit, I don't know. But you've got the courage to do that, and I appreciate that. People like Glemreb haven't got the courage to do that. So as long as we treat each other nicely and with respect and make videos like the one that you made, trying to get, genuinely trying to understand other people's points of view, then the future's bright. But not orange.